Okay, I bought 3 PS2's. Let's see if they work. I've also got 2 controllers that I'm going to be testing with these as well. Okay. We have power. Ooh. It does open. It closes really fast. So we might have a bad disc tray here. Go MX Unleashed. See if I can get this to stay open. Stayed open. See if it reads. Are you going to read the disc? It is. Oh my, we're working, we're going, we're gaming. This is one of my favorite games. I actually had this game on the Xbox 360. Hopefully it'll let me play without a memory card. It should. Fun fact, this band is called Trust Company that played this song. It's called Downfall. And back in, I don't even know, 2009 or 10, my dad actually played a show with their band. Like, they opened up for him. The PlayStation sounds good though. The fan doesn't sound crazy. Nope, it works. Oh. Okay, that circle button works. No hander, we're working. Okay. First PlayStation, it works. We are good. So let's eject the disc. Happy. We have power. Do we have any extra? No extras, but it does open. We're gonna try Bionicle Heroes. I actually really like this game. Had it for the Wii growing up. Uh-oh. Okay, but we're not reading. It doesn't even sound like it's spinning a disc. Okay, so this one we have a bad disk drive. The reason I'm saying that is because, I mean, I'll try another disc, but this one is in pristine condition. It just doesn't even sound like it's trying to spin anything. Yeah, see, it's not even trying. It's just going right to the home. The disc tray works. So I might have to try cleaning the disk drive, and then if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to buy and replace the disc. Nothing. We're not even getting power on this one. It's too bad because it's in good shape. Okay, well, we were 1 for 3. This is typically how it goes when you buy lots of consoles and stuff like this. So this one, we don't get any power, which sucks. I'm not able to even check the disk drive here. Okay, so we're 1 for 3. I've got 1 that won't read discs, and I've got 1 that won't get power. So let's see if we can jump in and figure that out. This one was quite the fix. So I ran into lots of issues and ended up having to Frankenstein 2 consoles together, but I'm just going to walk you through everything I did, and that's starting with being able to take apart the PS2. So it has all these little feet on the bottoms of them. There is 6 on the main part of the PlayStation, and there's 2 on the right side of it. and you just pop these little tabs off, revealing all 6 of the, or all 8, excuse me, of the screws that you need to unscrew, and they're just regular Phillips head, so it's almost your standard size, not too big, not too small. So once you get all those pulled out, like I said, there's 8 of them, nothing too crazy. Just get them all pulled out, and then you should be able to pull the top of the console off. Just pull it forward, revealing what's underneath. And then the power button is also located on the inside of that shell, so you can just kind of pop it off. It's not screwed on or anything, so just pop it off. And then next we have 2 screws on the front. I guess what I'm doing here first though is I'm checking the disk drive, because this first one wasn't reading disks. So I wanted to figure out what was going on, and testing it with the disk tray open was able to show me that. So there's also a little plastic piece on the top of the cover that you need to pull off so that you can magnetize the disc down. Otherwise it's just going to spin and throw it everywhere and scratch stuff, so you don't want to do that. Anyway, it wasn't spinning the disc at all. It would just do like a little half a turn, and then that was it, just kind of crapped out. So what that tells me is we probably have like a bad spindle. I couldn't find anything really online. I went to Reddit to see what other people were saying, and they were all saying too that it's like a bad spindle motor, so you could swap that out. I wasn't going to do that. I thought at first, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pull this thing apart, make sure that all the ribbon cables are plugged into the motherboard properly, and in order to access the disk drive on a PS2, you have to take the whole thing completely apart. So getting the fan off, and then now you can see me here getting to the power supply. There's 4 screws on that. Once you get the 4 screws out, it just pops off pretty easily. Yep, just snaps off just like that. There's these 4 little contactors right there next to my right hand that plug into the motherboard. So anyway, you can pull off the that metal cover there. Then we've got a bunch of screws that we need to pull off, and then there's also the plastic cover on that right side that pops off real easily, revealing 4 more screws that you need to pull off. Once you get all the screws off, you can pop out the fan, and then once the fan is off, you can then remove the metal plate. It just has a few clips that pop off pretty easily, revealing the motherboard. Now, there's a bunch of ribbon cables that you can pop off. There's, I think, 3 or 4 that you need to pop off with the disk drive. So I pulled the disk drive off and just decided, okay, let's check out the power supply one. Let's see what issues we're going to run into here. So I just swapped the power supplies. I took the power supply from the good motherboard, or the good power supply that turned on, and just put it into this one just to see what would happen. I thought at first it was a bad fuse, so I popped the fuse out, but the fuse was actually fine. So there's more issues to this motherboard than meets the eye that I just did not have time to delve into. Maybe eventually I will. So I just pop in the new motherboard so that I'm able to test this PlayStation and see if there's other issues with it, whether it be, you know, a bad disk drive or what, because I can't test this until I get power to it. So we pop in the new power supply, put it all back together, turn it on, and would you look at that? We have life. Oh, disk tray is trying to open, revealing we have a hidden game in there. We have ATV Off-Road Fury. So this does read discs though. It was able to read discs, and I show that in a second, but it's just the disc tray wasn't coming out all the way. So I don't know if it was like the gears needed grease, or if we had a bad belt, or if the motor was going bad that opens up the disc tray. But as you can see, it does read discs, so I was happy about this. Now, what I decided to do though was pull apart the disc tray here, and I don't show it in this video. I did record it, but I just didn't feel like it was necessary because I didn't use it at all. I greased up all the gears, I greased up the rods, the rails, everything within this disk drive, and I think I came to the conclusion that the belt's bad. So I just decided to swap out the entire laser housing from this disk drive that doesn't open up very good to the other one that had a bad motor, like the spindle motor wasn't working. So I just took the entire laser housing and the motor out and just put it in this new one. It's really easy. It's just those 4 screws in the corners. Pop those 4 screws off. You can pull out the entire laser mount and then swap it to the next one, which is what I did, and thankfully it ended up working. So yeah, that was actually pretty easy doing that. So it just compounded like one thing after another with this PlayStation Frankenstein build that I was doing. But it honestly wasn't that bad. I think the worst part about it was how many times I had to take apart these PlayStations, because I tried with one with the disk drive, it wasn't working. I tried another with the power supply, but then I found out that that disk tray doesn't even open up, but it did read discs. So we just took parts off of one, put it on the other. So you can see me here popping in all the different ribbon cables and then just building this thing, putting it back together. Nothing too crazy though, honestly. If you haven't taken apart a PlayStation, it's not hard. You can do an entire disassembly in probably 15 to 20 minutes for your first time. If you've done it a bunch of times, it's even faster. I think after I had finished this build, I had pulled apart both PlayStations at least 2 or 3 times each. So I got pretty quick at it. But once again, I was able to get it all put back together. So I had to take one power supply from the one, and then I took the good disk drive with the bad laser from the other, swapped out the laser mounts, and then I was able to put it all back together. And finally, after this probably honestly took me a couple hours, probably 2 or 3 hours to kind of diagnose, figure out what was going on, and then just all the assembling and disassembling and testing and whatnot. So I had to go from my work desk back to my desk in my room to test things. So anyway, I was happy. I got it all fixed. The disc tray worked. It opened. It read the discs, and I was super stoked. So just put all this back together. There's 4 little screws on top of the cover for the disk drive, and then just putting the controller mount back in, putting the fan and the power supply back in its spot, putting the power button back in the top of the shell, and then putting this puppy back together to give it the old test. Once you get it all put back together, you put your 8 screws back in, and then you can put your plastic feet and your rubber feet back in there, and then you are good to go with the PS2. So I took off the note I had written about it, and then also the sticker that came with when I purchased it. But then there's a little bit of residue that was just left on there, so I took some isopropyl alcohol, give it a little clean, and then we go to test this bad boy, see what we got. Moment of truth. Oh baby. Awesome. It works. What a beast that was. That was quite the fix. I don't think I'm going to be fixing the other one, so I was 2 for 3, because in order to fix that other one, because I harvested everything, I would have to get a new power supply. I'd have to get a new disk drive, but I'm happy we got one. We took parts from one, put it in the other, we Frankensteined it together, and it works. I'm going to play with it a little bit longer. I'm going to need to get a different controller. I think the contactors on this are dirty and I need to clean it, so I may do that for another video, is cleaning a PS2 controller. But that is it. That is my 3 PlayStation 2s that I got. One of them worked, didn't have to do anything. I had one with a bad power supply and I had one with a bad disk drive. So we Frankenstein parts together. We were able to get this one working. So I'm happy with that. But that is it. That is my 3 PlayStation 2s that I had. I was able to fix 2 of them. The other one I'm just going to keep for parts. Or I could just sell it as for parts on eBay. So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.